I'm Katie.
I'm Liz, and we're
Not Your Mommy.
Hey everyone, it's Katie here. Oh, deep breath. I don't know why solo pods can be quite nerve-wracking. I need like my security blanket. Liz here. I know you guys know what we're talking about today, but just to recap, the big stuff we're going to talk about is like flexible meal planning. What I realized was, or what came out of, I guess, like the last year and conversations with our listeners is that's really what you want to hear from me in a solo pod. And I just have not delivered the goods yet. Only little bits in here and there, but I'm fully doing like a full download of what works for me. This might not work for everyone, obviously, but take what you can from it. So yeah, this is like full about meal prep. So we're going to talk about flexible meal planning. We're going to talk, there were lots of questions around like food storage, time saving tips, I guess you could say. A lot of questions were like, how do you, like, what recipes do you have for 20 to 40 minutes? It's like, no. I would never do something in the kitchen that takes longer than 20 to 40 minutes. Unless like I'm making a lasagna that I'm like excited about the process for the next 2 hours. That is it. There's no reason for anything to take longer than that amount of time. And then kid-friendly meals. Honestly, all of it's kid-friendly because that's just the era I'm in right now. I'm not cooking my own things for Chris and I don't think. We kind of do the same ingredients. Maybe his is a bit deconstructed and ours is a bit spicy, but we'll get into that. Okay. What I need to say is that when I became a mom, cooking went from being this hobby to honestly like a necessity that I suddenly had to do 3 times a day and no one tells you that's going to happen. I was excited to cook for CJ. Like I was so excited for him to start eating. And then it happened and I was like, oh wait, this is the least gratifying thing possible. Now it's much more gratifying because he loves a bit of our food, but don't get me wrong, before you tune out, there's lots of food that he also doesn't like. He eats very like some of the things he eats, people are surprised by, but it's because we've always eaten like that, I think. And maybe also when I was pregnant, I ate like that. So yes, he loves like a curry and certain things like that. But honestly, like he won't eat a hot dog. So like it has its own struggles. But anyways, honestly, just like you guys, there's days that I'm so over it. I don't want to eat. Like, and that's crazy for me. Liz famously once said she wishes she could just take a pill and like that would be all of her nutrients, which I'm like, girl, go get an Ensure milkshake and you're good to go. But honestly, like there are days I don't want to eat. I'm just like, I'm so over it. I get sick of our go-to recipes. I'm like too tired to cook. I'd rather just like hang out too and have fun. Like cooking isn't as big of like a priority or like, no, it's actually such a priority that it's like not fun anymore. And it's like I said, it's something we have to do like 3 times a day now. And I'm just like, it's not the same. So yes, I love it. Yes, I still get like fulfillment out of the creative process of it, but sometimes I don't. So just keep that in mind. I'm just like you. She's just like us. Okay. Straight off the bat, I need you guys to know, I honestly only make one new recipe a week, if that. So I would say it kind of goes like one night I make. So let's say you have, actually it's a fact, 7 days in a week. One of those nights, I'm probably making a new recipe. That's usually on like a Sunday, but we'll get into that. 1 to 2 nights, I'm going to do something like go to easy. And I'll talk to you about what that category is, but that's going to be something that I can easily throw together, like peanut butter noodles, which I'll tell you all about. And then the other 1 or 2 nights would be something like from our freezer. So something maybe I've cooked as a new recipe weeks ago, and now I still have frozen. And it feels like I cooked from scratch tonight. So yeah, that'll be 1 to 2 nights. And then weekends need to be fun. So we'll talk about that in a second. I know people who like use Friday to like clean out the fridge from the week. No. Friday is like the most celebrated day in our household. We're having fun. We're not eating what we don't want to eat. We're only eating what we want to eat. And that's basically the whole weekend. Okay, let's get into it. So I would say like this is kind of our regular system. So for that one meal that I cook from scratch a week, by the way, I don't always do this. Like sometimes we fully, like, have I done that this week? No. And it's Thursday. So summer is happening and I would way rather hang out outside than cook right now. So yeah, it just didn't happen. But we had so much frozen stuff and like so many like easy go-to recipes that hasn't been an issue. My one meal that I cook from scratch a week, I like this to be back to Katie, like the things like back to like hobby Katie, where I'm excited to try a new recipe. I make it more of like a fun thing. So like either our whole family will do it or like Chris will take CJ out and it's like my own like solo time and I'm just getting to hang out. Maybe I poured myself a glass of wine. Maybe I put on my Spotify playlist and it's just like fun, you know? This is usually like, honestly, it still probably doesn't take me over 40 minutes. Some of our favorite things like Chris and I, our entire Instagram chat is just sending each other DMs of food that looks good on the internet. So I'll sometimes go through that. A lot of the times I'll kind of like use the whole weekend to be inspired. So we'll go to the farmer's market. Maybe I'll see like some vegetables that are now in season. And I'm like, ooh, like we haven't had like squash in so long. Like, ooh, what could I do with that? And I'll kind of like start to gather. I'm romanticizing this. It's not that romantic. I'm just like kind of like taking it all in. Or maybe like I'm really into More is More, the Molly Baz cookbook, the second one. I haven't actually used the first one, so I don't know. But I'm loving it. It's not vegan or anything, but I feel like I can make anything vegan in her cookbook. It's all very like vegetable forward and amazing. So many good flavors. Like literally her flavor profile is like a clone of my tongue. I think we have the same tongues. Like everything she likes, I like. Yeah. Basically, that's like more of a fun thing. I don't make it like such a chore. Although sometimes if we're having too much fun and it's summertime and I don't want to do this on the weekend, then maybe I'll like choose a weekday where I'm working from home and it will be a little bit more chorey where I'm like, okay, like I need to finish work like an hour early today and I just need to like bang this out before I go pick up CJ. So that still happens as well. Once that happens, I always make extra of that one meal. So it's not always of the full meal. Sometimes it's like just a component. So I'll make extra of like a side of it or a dressing or a sauce or whatever. Or maybe I'm making veggie burgers and I'll make six or not six times, but like twice or three times or whatever the amount of patties. So I try to have it so I have at least another meal after it, but ideally two or three meals for the family in portions. And if it's like one pot frozen meal or whatever, then I'll just like freeze that entire thing like a curry. Okay, so there's this lore, I never know, is that the word? In Liz and I's friendship where when she had just had her son, we all know about that time. It was not her favorite time in life. And I was like, okay, I'm going to cook for you like a bunch of meal prep stuff that I'm already cooking for myself. I'll just cook double. And you guys can just keep it in your house and like, then you don't have to worry about food. So we did this for a few weeks, but she was like, wait, like I can't eat the same thing every night. And it never occurred to me, like, so I will make one thing. Let's say it's tacos. Then throughout the week, I'll then turn that into different things. And this is such a creative expression for me and like honestly just like gets me going. But I love being like the next day or into the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, being like, what else could I do with those pickled onions? Or like, okay, I have all this veggie meat cooked. Oh my God, it makes such a good bowl. I bet you I could make a dressing and all I'd have to do is make a dressing and some rice and like we can use everything else left over from the tacos. Or I'll make nachos or I'll somehow turn it into like a chili or like a dip. Like, yeah, it's okay to have dip for dinner, by the way, if there's lots of veggies in it. So yes, I will have one thing, but I will basically not eat the same thing ever in a week. I don't think I've ever eaten the same thing. Maybe if I'm like so obsessed with it, but I'm usually turning it into something else or I'm freezing it. And then probably also when I make it, like after it's been frozen, I'm often turning it into something else. So I often like freeze things separately. So even if I make a curry, I might actually, let's say there's like tofu or chickpeas or something in it as like the primary protein. I will just save the sauce and freeze that because then I can use that sauce in like a bunch of different ways. Or I always have like cashew cream frozen. And then I'll just take that and thought and like add it to something to like just make it more homemade. So I'll add it to like a Rouse tomato sauce or like a pesto or a curry or a soup or anything just to like change things up. Okay, may have gotten off topic here. Okay, what I have written here is that scarcity breeds creativity. And I really think this is true in food. If you look at like all the best food cultures in the world, resources are scarce. And that's where some of the best food comes from, is when people have to get creative and just like really like imagine what they can create with like only X amount of ingredients or only things that they're finding within like a 1 kilometer or 5 kilometer radius of their home. So yeah, I mean, the coolest thing about when I think of this, I think of Mexico and Italy. And like, come on, that's the best food ever. And also like Korea and Japan, like Korea, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but like they just like their food is so phenomenal and their flavors and everything. And it's like so rooted back to like war and just what was available to them. And that's why like spam is such a big part of that culture, because I think that the American soldiers brought it there. And so they had to learn how to basically cook with it. Um, like obviously I'm not eating spam, but that's just an example of like you're only given something and then how are you creating like incredible things with it. I'm not lying when I say like I usually spend most of my time in yoga thinking about what I have in my house and how I'm going to turn it into something. So yes, I know not everyone is like that, and I get that. We all have our own favorite things in the world. That's just one of mine. I am going to start a Substack where I share what we eat in a week, like just photos and quickly just to see. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it has to be delicious. And that's the whole goal. And back to the scarcity thing, like I love seeing what I can create out of leftovers by like adding canned component or looking up just a cucumber, like that excites me as well. And once you kind of look at it like that, it's pretty fun. It's like a game. Speaking of fun, weekends are for fun. So Friday night, we call it Friday night pub night in our neighborhood. And we'll often meet some of our neighbors at just like the pub down the street, and the kids will have like pizza and us parents will have like beers and burgers or whatever. Um, if that's not on the agenda, then sometimes we're so tired we just want to like watch a movie or whatever. So CJ loves picnics, so we'll have like a living room picnic, and we'll like even just like throw a bunch of snacks on the ground on a blanket, and we'll like watch a movie, or we'll order in pizza, or we'll go to the park and like everyone will just pull together their scraps that they have in their house and like see what we can create out of it. So yeah, weekends to me are all about that. I'm not here to like suffer through a weekend and like eat something I'm not into. Just like lean into it. It's so much fun. Saturday and Sunday are usually like a Saturday and Sunday are usually like a potluck or like a collab of some sort with friends and neighbors. And it's like, okay, should we all order in together? Or like, oh, I picked this up from the market. Oh, amazing. Like I got this. Like we can combine this and like do something with it. So it's just like more collaborative, easy, chill. Like my favorite thing to do is just like take all the things in your house and like make a pasta salad out of it, or make a pizza, or just like get a good dip and like cut everything up in your house and like dip it in there. And then one hack that I've had this summer is CJ's daycare has like a meal program. We've never signed up to it because he just loves the food that we send him. And yeah, it's not like the same as what I'm cooking, and it's more simple. It's more like sandwiches, and CJ's not really like a sandwich guy. He's, like I said, he's more of a curry guy. So, yeah, we kind of stayed away from it, but then we just realized like, wait, in the summer, it's so key. Like we can, again, just maximize our weekend. If we go on a road trip or like a long weekend, we don't have to like grab something at the store to then like figure out what we're going to do for lunches on the Monday or Tuesday. And it's just created like so much more space for us, so we can like have more fun in the mornings, and like I'm not taking up time to pack his lunch, and it's just really taken care of. So that's really just been game changer for us for long weekends. Also, Chris has been traveling a lot, and it honestly just like has made my life so much easier. So I'm all about simplifying. Like this podcast by no means is about complicating your life with food. It's about like having really good food and simplifying it. And then I would say like once every 6 weeks, if we're like low on a freezer item, I'll make that for dinner and then make like 6 times that, which I'm sure you've seen on my Instagram stories. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to share with you some things that we always have on hand in our freezer, or at least we try to, and that freeze really well. And they're so easy to make and like just they're so versatile. Mac and cheese sauce. So I just freeze the sauce. Everything I'm talking about is vegan as well. But Chris takes the sauce. Chris is obsessed with the sauce. He takes a vegan version and then puts in his own like cheese and vegan and parm and things like that. We've all heard about our balls, and yes, there's been some questions to reshare that recipe, which I will in the show notes as well. Those are really easy. Again, I double batch, and they're great to have in the house, like to just give to friends. So if a friend has a baby, I already have them frozen, and I just like drop off like 12 of them to their house because they're the perfect postpartum snack that you can eat all hours of the day and use only one hand to eat. And they're like high in protein, have all the seeds, all the things you need. I make black beans. I need to share the recipe. It's like amalgamation of like my Mexican mother-in-law's recipe and my own, I guess. And then I've now perfected it in the Instapot. You can either have them whole or you can blend it up and have it like more of like a smooth bean, or you can like put it as a dip or like in a 7-layer. Again, the options are endless. It's a great simple recipe and I always keep these frozen. Curry. We have a few go-to recipes, like there's this dal that's really easy to make. It's good that when you have a few recipes also that Chris like feels really confident making, so I can kind of just like task him with those things as well. It doesn't always have to be on me. But sometimes curry I just get wild and just like hope for the best. We'll talk about the Instapot in a second. And yeah, either I get like 6 portions of bad curry or I get 6 portions of really good curry and I can never replicate it again. Okay, pastina is a favorite one. It's almost like an Italian chicken noodle soup-ish. Look it up, Google it. Chris also knows how to make this one, so he makes a bunch of it, and then we freeze that. And like, if you're not feeling well, or when I get home from a trip, it's like the first thing I want is just like so homey and just so simple. It's amazing. Frozen pizza, like, sorry, no shade. We have, well, I'm giving no shade to myself and no shade to you. This is your permission. Stock your house with a few frozen pizzas. It's not bad. Like, just do it. It will make your life so much easier. On that note, also a ramen broth. So we either like make your own or we'll get the workshop veg spicy one. That's more for Chris and I. But again, it's just, especially in the winter, like, just like, okay, that's easy. Just make a broth, throw in some broccoli, some tofu, some green onions. You got yourself a soup. Veggie patties. Molly Baz has the best lentil burger patty recipe. That's quite Mediterranean. It's like very lemony and minty. It's amazing. It's not vegan, but I've made it vegan and I will DM me if you want me to share that recipe that I've made. We always have like a vegan ravioli frozen that we can just grab. That's CJ's absolute favorite. He calls them ravies and he asks for it every day. A new one to our repertoire is pierogies because Costco just started selling pierogies and those are just, again, an easy win. Like, just, we're not trying to win any awards here. We're just like trying to eat and enjoy it. Oh, and the other thing you could do is also pre-prep smoothies. So like put everything you would usually put except for the liquid into containers and just keep that in a freezer. So in the morning, it's really easy. And I do this with Chris. Back in the day when he didn't know how to make smoothies, now he does. He's graduated, but I would just like prep a bunch of smoothies and then it was great because then I could just ask him to make me a smoothie. Okay. We also talked about easy like go-tos. So just a reminder, one night is a new recipe, 1 to 2 nights are like a go-to easy, and then 1 to 2 nights are frozen. So these are my easy go-tos that like CJ can ask for at any time and I can usually throw it together. Number 1 requested item in our house by every single human is peanut butter noodles. These are extra exciting because you can't have them at school because no peanuts allowed. So he only gets these at home and they're literally the easiest thing alive to make. They're like not high in like veg, but this is what I do. So, and again, I can share this, but basically I take like a cook noodles, whatever noodles you want to make. You could do pasta noodles, you could do spaghetti. We do ramen noodles, like the brown rice ramen noodles from Costco, or you could also just do any ramen noodle. Cook that, take some of that warm pasta water, like maybe a third of a cup, add that to like a heaping tablespoon of peanut butter, throw in some soy sauce or whatever. Think I do a bit of soy sauce and a little bit of maple syrup. You could do none of that and just peanut butter and water. Mix that all together until it's like kind of like like a dressing. My mouth is watering. And then once the noodles are done, I toss it in this peanut butter sauce. And then I use scissors. By the way, biggest tip ever for parents, are scissors, like kitchen scissors. I got this from David Chang. He uses, I think it's a very like Asian thing to like use scissors in your kitchen to cut things. Game changing. Do it. Like stop like putting things on a cutting board and like chopping things. Just don't do it. Just take scissors. So easy to cut noodles. So we cut that down and then he eats that as is and we'll serve it with like fresh veg. He really loves peppers, cucumbers, all that stuff. And then for us, we'll add like chili oil, maybe some tofu, some green onions, some furikake, like sesame seeds, you name it. We'll add it. And that is peanut butter noodles. And then other things are like, yeah, grabbing something from the freezer, like a component, and then making something with that. So we might get the frozen ravioli and then do like, or you could do like a pesto pasta. You could also freeze pesto, but we actually just buy store-bought, and add the cashew cream to that. You could do your frozen pizzas. You could add extra veg to your frozen pizzas. I talked about the ramen already. Oh, here's another one. I feel like this is a hack. Basically, if we have no ideas about what to cook, but we kind of want like a bowl, but we have nothing in the house really, I'll pick up CJ, I'll put an order into sushi, I'll get spicy agadashi tofu, but you could do like raw fish or whatever, and then I'll also get a side of rice and a side of ginger, and then I get home and I just put mayo and spicy like a sriracha together, make a little sauce, and then cut up some cucumber, cut up avocado if I have it, slice up the ginger a little bit, and throw that all together as like a bowl. If you have any cabbage or you have some sort of green or lettuce, any other veg you want, you could do some soy sauce. What else? Yeah, it's really easy and really good. Cut up jalapeno. We do anything and everything. And it's just a perfect little bowl and it's so cheap and so easy. We'll take like leftovers and do, yeah, like other bowls as well. Like I said, like a taco salad into a bowl. Um, oh, that's also a really easy recipe for us. We call them dark and dirties because they're literally like the most whitest man ever taco. But we get like veggies or Eve's veggie meat, and we add like siete taco seasoning to it. And then we literally just do like like a vegan sour cream, taco meat, and pickled onions and Cholula hot sauce. Oh, and we use Lita's tortillas, cook them up. My mouth is watering. How many times, like, drink every time I say that on this pod. But that is our like favorite easy meal. Takes like 2 minutes, not 2 minutes. Let's say 12 to make. And even CJ loves them. We wrap them into like little almost taquitos for him with no hot sauce. And yeah, we call them dark and dirties, but then there's always leftover items from that. So then you can make 1,000,001 things. Oh, I also love making like a pasta salad to take to the river, or just like you can just make a big batch and have it for like lunches and dinner throughout the week. But I'll do a pasta salad with like all the random like kitchen scraps. So I'll take like any vegetable we have. I'll take like any pickles, like um like a pepperoncini, an olive, you could do caper, you could do jalapeno. I'll take pickle juice, any type of pickle juice, mix it with like a tahini and maybe even a pesto, some lemon if you want, some salt, pepper, maybe a bit of maple syrup, Anyways, anything you want. Maybe throw some herbs in if you have a herb garden. Throw it all in. I'll even just like throw in chickpeas or like that spread cheese, literally everything. And then you have a pasta salad. Keep it in the fridge. It's amazing. That is the bulk of what I do. I'm gonna now go through the questions and like really get into some other things around storage, etc. Okay, but the first question that was sent in is how long have you been vegan and would you ever eat meat again? So, spoiler, I don't think I've ever eaten meat. Probably as a kid, I think I was like handed hot dogs and veggie and like burgers and stuff, but I wasn't into them. So when I found out that I could be vegetarian and literally knock out that entire food group that I hated eating anyways, I was like, put my hand up. I'm like, I remember we were in Kelowna on like a family vacation. I was like, sorry, that person's vegetarian. What does that mean? And my mom explained it. And then I was like, well, I'm vegetarian now. So, and like from a very young age, my dad has like these wild stories of me because he was a teacher at the time. So we'd spend summers together and he would make me like random dad lunches with like hot dogs on bread or like sweet potato sandwiches. And he says, yeah, and I like was very confused why we're eating. When I found out what a hot dog was, I thought it was a dog and was totally fine eating it. But anyways, when I found out it was not, I threw it at the wall. So that was kind of the start of that. So yeah, I guess I had a few bites. Don't remember ever eating meat ever in my life. Can't even remember it. Once I ate it by accident, like 20 years ago, because I forget that things are made with meat because my life is so not that. So I was eating like this chili or like it was a dip made with chili and sour cream or cream cheese or whatever. If you've ever had that, it's amazing. And yeah, I ate it. And then I saw the can and I was like, that's not vegan. And then I was like, right, of course. I'm so naive. I am just not like, and again, there's no shade. Like, you do you. It just has never been right for me. But yeah, I basically never thought I'd be vegan. I thought that was fucking nuts. I was like addicted to like dairy, who's not. It actually has addictive qualities in it. I then got really, really sick. I forget if I've told this story now on a different solo pod. I ended up going vegan for health reasons to like just help myself. Like basically doctors were like, this is it. This is your new life. And I was determined to not make that real. And so I did everything. And yeah, someone who thought they would never go vegan, when you hit that level of like rock bottom in your health, you'll do anything. So dairy left the convo and hasn't really come back since. That being said, I do feel like I'm more lax now. So like if I'm in France, if there's a croissant and here's my thing. I don't want it, but if I want something, I will have it. But I'm like, when you haven't had something for so long, you don't want it, if that makes sense. So if I want it, I'll have it. I can't really think. Croissants are probably the only thing, but only when I'm in France, really. Because I just feel like the ingredients are so much more pure and real and like not as like overproduced as we are here in North America. But yeah, I consider myself like a pretty chill vegan, but then people who aren't vegan are probably like, girl, like, what do you mean I have to use a new utensil to like make your veggie burger on the barbecue? So I am like that. Okay. Favorite food storage Tupperware blender and also on the go snacks for kids. So I am going to share the food storage. So here's the thing. I use plastic containers. Not everyone uses them. Totally get it. Everyone has their like hill to die on. Plastic isn't one of them for me. I feel like, you know, how I feel about like toxic ingredients and fragrances. That's kind of my hill, you know? I cannot take on the plastics situation. It's just not one for me at the moment. So we use plastic. I will share what we use. Basically, you guys know I had a nanny who like reorganized my entire house and she got me into this. It's just like a container. I'll link it. I also have my Amazon storefront. I have all this in there. So I'll link all that. And then we label everything. And I have a pantry that's all labeled. She actually built a pantry for me. She took away one of our like foyer closets that we weren't really using anyways and like put in shelving and like did an amazing job. So I use these and then I label everything. I do find like every few months you have to kind of reset because you get lazy or you're in, just moving so quick in life that like I'll just like I'm like, oh, whatever, like I'll just throw a bag of whatever in there and not put it into its proper container. So it does require a bit of upkeep, but I mean, obviously it's so much better for finding things. I also use deli containers that you use in a kitchen because obviously I have a kitchen, but I will link those because you can buy them on Amazon as well, different sizes. There's a 250, a 500, and a liter size. We use the liter or the 500 a lot for all of our frozen stuff. So those are perfect for stacking in the freezer. Big fan. And also label. So for labels, we use Sup Van, I think it's called. I'll link it again. I have it here. We keep it in our kitchen and we just like make it easy to use. Like it's just part of the food prep process. And yeah, and I'm like, I just label what it is and I make notes to myself like, this is the CJ pasta sauce, not spicy or whatever. Just make sure you're labeling. Okay, question about blender. I'm just classic. I love a Vitamix. I don't know. Is there like, I never considered using anything else, to be totally honest. As a family, we've had like, my mom got a Vitamix like way back when wasn't, you couldn't buy it anywhere. Like there's no website, obviously. Back then there was no e-com and no one was selling it. But I think she like contacted like a dealer who would sell it like commercially and she got one. My brother had jaw surgery and had to like eat everything through a straw. So my mom went into like turbo mode and just got the best Vitamix or best blender she could find. So yeah, I'm a Vitamix gal. And what else? Oh, I'm a big food processor user as well. I couldn't live without it. I don't use it. I probably only use that like once every few weeks, but couldn't live without it. In fact, I think I've told you, like mine's been recalled, but I refuse to send it back because it's so perfect. They don't even make it anymore, probably because it got recalled. Okay, question there. A part of that question was about on-the-go snacks for kids. I don't know, just keep it simple. I don't partake in the like made good packaged snack situation. I think the ingredients are shit, so that's not for me. But I make my own muffins. Again, I'm not like a trad wife. They just don't take very much time, and I usually have all the ingredients in the house. We have the balls, which I told you guys about. We will just cut up veg for Siege. He also loves smoked tofu. He just thinks it's cheese. So we cut that up, maybe do crackers with that. That's it. Bars from Costco. We go through stages with those, but those are just so easy. And here's the thing with kids too. Like, even though if they say no once, try again the next day or like 2 weeks later, they might say yes. Just like today, I don't want a strawberry smoothie, but like I might want one in 3 days, you know? So just like always, I'm like so shocked at, I think I've like rolled something out and then CJ's like, no, I want that. Okay, you know what CJ's like favorite thing is? A slice of fresh bread. So like we love our bakery here in Squamish, and if I get fresh bread, I will pick him up because we always need a car snack for on the way home from school. He's so hungry, and I'll just hand him a piece of bread, and he's like obsessed. Um, we also do cookies. Like if I make cookies, I try to make them with good ingredients, and we don't like hierarchy any food in our house. So if he asks for a cookie at 9 a.m., we're going to give him a cookie at 9 a.m. And I actually feel like that's really worked for us. Like he doesn't think anything's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And maybe ice cream, because like we don't ever have it in the house. And I feel like they celebrate it in like children's books and things like that. But other than that, he is just kind of like all the same to him. And he can just go into the cupboard and pull out anything. And he'll just pull out like a rice cake, whatever, and want to eat it. I'm like, sure, go for it. You want to eat chips? Eat them. Like, it's not like he's sitting there with a whole bag of chips and eating the whole thing. Like, he's just not. But he can eat whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And meat, like, he can always eat. Just because I'm vegan, no one else needs to be in my family. I just do the cooking and you can eat what I make. I always offer him meat if he wants to eat it. He just like has never really gravitated towards it except for meat lasagna. But anything else, he's kind of like, no thanks. Okay. This one says tips for getting it done while caring for an infant. Okay, a few questions around this. Well, I don't. I honestly don't. I'm so overwhelmed right now. I'm so spread thin. I actually am like fully restructuring my life like in the next few weeks here. So, yeah, I don't. But what I will say is that I probably prioritize like I would rather like cook dinner and like be behind in something else in my life than not do that if I want to do it. Sometimes I don't want to do it. Sometimes I don't want to cook, and then that's like usually a sushi bowl night. And the other thing said tips for prepping while a toddler is going wild. Weeknights are not the time for new recipes. Like it's just not. I'm sorry. I would say the only time you have is to like cut up some fresh veg and like put it all together. So if I'm making rice, I'll usually make it the night before or like while he's at school or daycare or whatever, or pasta. Like I'll kind of like do it all before I pick him up. I know not everyone has that luxury. So I will even like fill the water before I go to work and put it on the stove. And then, cause like even that, sometimes he wants to be held and like I don't even have two hands to like fill the water and everything. So, yeah, I just like set myself up to like do the least possible. But for me, it's more just like putting it all the bits together and that's it. And like maybe reheating something. Like, and that's for all the adults. Like everyone is usually getting the same meal in our household. But oh, also Instapot is so helpful. Like we have one, you do personal, like you could follow recipes. I kind of just like throw a bunch of shit in there and hope for the best. And I do feel like some of our best food has come out of that. And I think it's super helpful when you're a parent as well. Because you can literally like set it and forget it. Um, Someone asked if a deep freezer is an essential purpose. It's been a game changer for us. We had it since before we had CJ because we were about to have CJ. And I was so nervous as the person who did most of the cooking in the house that I wasn't going to have like nourishing, like warm food. So, yes, it's been amazing for us. I feel like you can organize things better in there. I just like it. It works for us. If you have room, 100%. I don't even think they're expensive. Oh, by the way, did I share like our label maker? I think was like is like $25. So also not expensive. Oh, well, actually, that's the next question. Store labeling and storage hacks to avoid food waste. So yeah, invest in a label maker, $25. Keep it in your kitchen and properly put things in containers. And yeah, you're gonna have to reset every few months. It's all good. Go to 20 to 40-minute meals. Like I said, everything is honestly only 20 to 40 minutes in my life. I am going to create that Substack and I'm just going to share what we eat each week just to give you an idea. Sometimes I'll have recipes, but I just want you guys to kind of just, it's not like riveting content, but it might just be helpful to see like examples of how it all comes to life. And that is it for my household meal prep deep dive. I hope that's been helpful. I'm here if you have any questions. I'm excited to hear what your favorite part was. Just a reminder, if you're on Spotify, you can actually comment like on each episode and ask any questions, and I'm happy to respond to you there. And it's a bit late now, but we're also on YouTube, so you can watch this entire thing, watch my entire face on YouTube and also on Spotify. Okay, well, this has been fun. Don't worry, Liz and I are coming back together. We're going to be up to our same shenanigans. We have lots to update you guys on. And I hope you have a great day and tag me in whatever you prep this weekend. I'm excited to see what you guys gather and forage throughout the weekend and what you're inspired by and what recipes you end up making. And yeah, talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.